Pembroke.
Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to rise on behalf of the well-informed constituents of Renfrew-Nipissing-Pembroke and speak to the Liberals' Online News Censorship Act. Every single day, thousands of Canadians have their online identity stolen. Every single day, a woman has her privacy and dignity stolen by revenge porn. Every single day, the mental health crisis grows in scale, driven by social media use among teens. Online crimes run rampant, but do these Liberals care? No. Instead, their priority is propping up dying broadcasters and failing legacy media corporations. They've already passed their Online Streaming Censorship Act. We're already beginning to see the consequences of that first stifling bill. Smaller foreign streamers are telling the CRTC they'll leave the Canadian market. These Liberals were warned this would happen. I personally warned the member from Winnipeg North what would happen if foreign language streamers such as Filipino streaming service blocked people living in Canada from watching their content. Now, here we are again. Every independent voice is telling these Liberals that their plan is terrible. Their scheme to force two foreign companies to subsidize the entire Canadian media industry is obviously ridiculous. Even the legacy media has finally admitted they make millions of dollars from Google and Facebook. The legacy media even buy ads on Facebook. Yet their lobbyists continue to lie and claim that these two tech companies are profiting from their content. We know this is a lie. Facebook and Google do not profit off the dying legacy media. These companies profit off our privacy. These companies strip mine our data and sell it to the highest bidder. News links generate very little profitable data. Google doesn't even run ads on most news searches. That's why these companies have been clear. If they are forced to choose between negotiating unlimited payments for links and blocking news links, they will choose to block news links. Now the Minister for Heritage huffs and puffs about his chest that it's just a bluff. Hearing the minister speak like that, I can understand why some of his critics think that he's incompetent. In fact, I think the government knows exactly what it's doing. It's called the Liberal coin flip. If it's heads, the Liberals win. If it's tails, Canadians lose. If Google and Facebook win, it's tails, Canadians lose. If Google and Facebook comply with the extortion, the legacy media become beholden to the Liberals continuing in power. If Google and Facebook reject the extortion and block links, fewer Canadians will learn the truth about this government's corruption and incompetence. Heads they win, tails we lose. But it doesn't have to be this way. There's a third option. Facebook and Google could respect our democracy by seeking a solution in the courts. The legislation requires negotiation on a commercial basis. The news media has now admitted it receives significant commercial benefit from links shared by Google and Facebook. Google and Facebook provide these commercial benefits to the news media industry free of charge. It's clear from the Liberals' desperate talking points, this bill has no relationship with reality. It's based on the big lie first pushed by Rupert Murdoch's Australian media companies. This bill will never withstand judicial scrutiny. Facebook and Google have a choice. They can block news links and make Canadian democracy worse off, or they can use their considerable resources to fight this law in court. Facebook and Google must keep the news links working, refuse to pay the blackmail, and demonstrate they care more about the fundamental principles and the internet and the fact that the internet was built on, which is the free flow of information. If Google and Facebook refuse to fight this, if they just give up on Canadians and proceed with blocking news, then the Prime Minister wins and Canadians lose. How many Canadians learned about blackface from a Facebook post? How many Canadians have Googled the words communist interference and Liberal Party in order to keep up with the latest news leaks? This government would be all too happy to see fewer news stories online. Failing that, they'll settle for bringing the legacy media under the control of government. This bill gives the CRTC the power to demand any information from news media. At the recent convention, Liberal Party members cheerfully passed a policy to force news media to disclose their sources. Who's going to risk blowing the whistle on this government if the CRTC can demand any news media outlet reveal their identity? This government claims it needs to force Google and Facebook to subsidize the entire Canadian media industry in order to save Canadians from the scourge of misinformation. Meanwhile, the Minister of Public Endangerment is a one-man misinformation ban. He claimed that police asked for the Emergencies Act. He claimed he was not banning hunting rifles while seeking to ban thousands of hunting rifles. He claimed the secret communist police stations had been shut down. This government is the greatest source of misinformation in our society today. Now the Liberals want to bring news media under their control. At its core, this government's confused. It has confused the fundamental right of a free press with the corporate interests of the news media industry. The survival of any one particular newspaper or broadcaster is of no importance to our democracy. What is important is the freedom for any Canadian to publish. C-18 threatens that freedom. If Google and Facebook give in to the extortion, then the larger established legacy media will be given an unfair competitive advantage over any media not willing to get into bed with the CRTC.
It being 8:29, pursuant to order made earlier today, it is my duty to interrupt the proceedings and put forthwith every question necessary to dispose of the consideration of the Senate amendments to Bill C-18 now before the House. The question is as follows. Mr. Rodriguez, seconded by Ms. Hutchins, moved that a message be sent to the Senate to acquaint their honours that, in relation to Bill C-18, an act respecting online communication platforms that make news content available to persons in Canada, the House agrees with Amendments 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 made by the Senate and rejette respectueusement